The fridge door swung open with a soft hiss, revealing shelves groaning under the weight of my labor. Platters of marinated chicken glistening under plastic wrap, bowls of creamy potato salad flecked with chives, a towering cake I'd baked from scratch, its chocolate frosting swirled like dark waves. My hands, still raw from chopping onions and kneading dough, reached for a slice of the leftover roast beef I'd tucked away for a quick sandwich. That's when her voice shattered the quiet kitchen like glass underfoot. "Mom, don't touch that food. My husband's family is coming." My daughter, Elena, burst through the doorway, her face twisted in a mask of panic and accusation. Her eyes darted from my hand to the fridge, as if I'd been caught stealing from her own pocket. I froze, the cold air from the open door prickling my skin, a flush of heat rising in my chest. I'd spent the entire day, hell the week, stocking that fridge for us because she said she was overwhelmed with the baby and work. And now this. A command barked like I was the help, not the woman who'd raised her, who'd sacrificed everything. The words hung in the air, sharp and unyielding. I slammed the door shut, the magnets rattling like bones. "Your husband's family," I echoed, my voice low, trembling with the effort to contain the storm brewing inside. Elena's husband, Mark, came from money. Old, polished money that looked down on our modest life like it was dirt under their manicured nails. They'd been married 2 years, and in that time, I'd watched my daughter morph into someone I barely recognized. Always apologizing for our simple ways, always striving to impress them with gourmet meals and spotless rooms. But this, hoarding the food I'd prepared, like it was too precious for me. She shifted on her feet, her manicured nails, painted a soft pink to match her in-laws' expectations, tapping against the countertop. "I didn't mean it like that, Mom. They're picky, and I want everything to be perfect. You understand, right?" Her tone was placating, but her eyes avoided mine, flicking to the clock instead. The baby, little Ava, cooed from her high chair in the corner, oblivious to the tension thickening the room like smoke. "Understand." Oh, I understood. This wasn't about food. This was about erasure. About how Elena had started calling Mark's mother Mom in casual conversation. How she'd forgotten to invite me to Ava's first birthday party until the last minute, claiming it was a small family thing. Family. The word twisted in my gut like a knife. I'd raised her alone after her father left us high and dry when she was 5, scraping by on 2 jobs, mending her clothes by hand, lying awake nights worrying if we'd make rent. And now, at 52, with arthritis creeping into my joints from years of hard labor, I was the outsider in my own daughter's home. I forced a smile, the kind that hurts your cheeks, and nodded. "Of course, sweetie. Wouldn't want to ruin the spread." But inside, a seed planted itself. Small, bitter, sprouting roots of resentment. As I gathered my coat and keys, the kitchen's fluorescent light buzzing overhead like an angry hornet, I imagined smashing that cake against the wall, watching the frosting splatter like blood. "No," I told myself, pushing the thought down. "That's not you, Margaret. You're the good mother, the one who forgives." But forgiveness felt like swallowing glass that night as I drove home to my empty apartment, the radio droning some love song that mocked me. The streetlights blurred through tears I refused to let fall. How had it come to this? Elena had been my everything, my fierce little girl who'd punch bullies for me, who'd promise we'd always be a team. Now she was Team Mark, Team in-laws, with their summer homes and judgmental smiles. Humiliation burned in my throat, hot and acrid. I pictured her serving my food to them, taking credit, while I sat alone with a microwave dinner. By morning, the anger had cooled into something sharper. Resolve. I wouldn't confront her, not yet. That would make me the villain, the overbearing mother. No, I'd watch. Wait. And in the quiet hours, as I sipped bitter coffee at my kitchen table, scarred from years of use, fantasies crept in. What if I showed up unannounced during their dinner? What if I revealed the secrets I'd kept buried? About Mark's late nights at the office that smelled like perfume, or the way Elena's laugh had turned hollow. But doubt nipped at me. Was I overreacting? Was this just the pain of an empty nester? Guilt twisted alongside the rage. Maybe I'd failed her somehow, pushed her away. Weeks passed in a haze of forced normalcy. I'd visit, bringing toys for Ava, smiling through gritted teeth as Elena gushed about her in-laws' latest gift, a designer stroller we could never afford. Each time, the fridge incident replayed in my mind, a loop of betrayal. One afternoon, as rain pattered against the windows like impatient fingers, Elena confessed over tea. "Mom, they're pressuring us to move closer to them. Mark thinks it's a good idea, for Ava's future." Her voice was tentative, but her eyes sparkled with excitement. Future. As if our past meant nothing. Heartbreak clawed at me, raw and unrelenting. "And what about me?" I asked, my voice steady despite the tremor in my hands. She hesitated, stirring her tea endlessly. "You'll visit. It's not like we're cutting you out." But the lie hung there, unspoken. That night, alone in bed, sheets tangled around me like restraints, obsession took hold. I scrolled through old photos on my phone. Elena as a toddler, grinning with missing teeth. Us at her graduation, arms linked. Then darker thoughts. Ways to expose the cracks in her perfect new life. An anonymous tip about Mark's business trips. Sabotaging their precious dinner parties. No, too petty. Revenge needed to be surgical, poetic. I started small, testing the waters. During my next visit, as Elena napped with Ava, I rifled through drawers in their study. Bills, letters, nothing damning. But then a folder, prenup details, Mark's family insisting on it to protect assets. Elena had signed without telling me. Humiliation surged anew. They'd seen her, us, as a threat, a gold digger lineage. The paper crinkled in my fist, and I imagined burning it, watching the flames consume their security. Suspicion grew like mold in the damp corners of my mind. Was Elena complicit or just blind? I watched her more closely, noting how she flinched when Mark raised his voice, how she downplayed his dismissals. "He's just stressed," she'd say, but her eyes betrayed fear. Moral conflict gnawed at me. If I struck back, would I hurt her more? Yet resentment won out. She chose them. Let her feel the sting. The turning point came at a family barbecue, theirs, not ours. I'd been invited as an afterthought, arriving to find the in-laws already ensconced on the patio, sipping wine from crystal glasses. Mark's mother, Vivian, with her pearl necklace and pinched smile, greeted me coolly. "Margaret, how nice you could make it." The condescension dripped like honeyed venom. Elena bustled about, serving my recipes, relabeled as her own creations. "Try the salad, Mom made the base, but I tweaked it," she said, winking at Vivian. "Tweaked it." The word echoed, fueling the fire. As laughter rang out, jokes about humble beginnings, I excused myself to the kitchen, heart pounding like a war drum. The fridge loomed, stocked again with my efforts. My hand hovered over a bottle of Vivian's prized imported sauce. A drop of something innocuous. Laxative, perhaps? No, too crude. But the idea lingered, a whisper of cold resolve. That night, as thunder rumbled outside my window, I planned. Not destruction but revelation. I'd uncover Mark's secrets, force Elena to see the betrayal mirroring her own. Doubt flickered. What if she hated me for it? But obsession drowned it out. She needed to learn. Blood over bonds forged in silver spoons. The air in my apartment grew thick with secrets over the next months, the scent of takeout containers mingling with the musty odor of old photo albums I'd dragged out for research. I'd hired a private investigator, a grizzled man named Ray, found through a discreet ad, using savings I'd squirreled away for a rainy day. This storm was a hurricane. "Follow Mark," I'd instructed, my voice steady despite the guilt churning in my stomach. Discreetly. Ray's reports trickled in. Late nights at bars, meetings with a woman named Lisa, brunette, laughing, her hand on his arm in grainy photos. Each image was a dagger, twisting deeper. Heartbreak for Elena warred with my own resentment. How could she not see? Or did she, and choose ignorance? Inner turmoil raged as I paced my living room, the carpet worn thin under my feet. Fantasies of justice morphed. No longer petty sabotage, but a orchestrated unveiling. I'd confront her gently, show the evidence, pull her back to me. But doubt crept in. What if she blamed the messenger? Fear gripped me, losing her entirely. Yet obsession propelled me forward. I began dropping hints in our conversations, subtle as poison in wine. Mark seems distant lately. I'd say over coffee, the steam curling like smoke signals. Elena's response was always defensive. He's working hard for us, Mom. Don't start. Her words stung, layering humiliation atop the old wounds. Suppressed rage simmered, bubbling in quiet moments when I'd stare at the photos, imagining Mark's smug face crumpling. The plan crystallized on a crisp autumn evening, leaves crunching underfoot like brittle bones as I drove to their house. Vivian and the in-laws were coming for Thanksgiving, another feast I'd unknowingly prepared ingredients for. Elena had called, pleading, "Mom, can you bring your stuffing? They love it, as if it were theirs to claim." I arrived early, arms laden with bags, the kitchen alive with the sizzle of turkey and the warm spice of cinnamon. Ava toddled over, her tiny hands grasping my leg, a brief balm to my fractured heart. As Elena chopped vegetables, her knife rhythmic against the board, I broached it. "Sweetie, we need to talk." My voice was calm, but inside, tension coiled like a spring. She paused, wiping her hands on a towel embroidered with Vivian's monogram. "About what?" "If it's the move again," Mark's set on it. "The move to their gated community hours away. Away from me." I pulled out the envelope, photos spilling onto the counter like confessions. "It's about this." Her face paled as she scanned them. Mark with Lisa, timestamps damning. "What? How did you get these?" Her whisper was hoarse, eyes wide with shock. Heartbreak mirrored mine, but resentment flashed too. "You've been spying." "Not spying. Protecting." My words tasted like ash. "He's betraying you, just like you've betrayed me." The admission slipped out raw and unfiltered. She recoiled, hand to her mouth. "Betrayed you? Mom, this isn't about you." But it was. Always had been. The argument escalated, voices rising over the hum of the oven. "You've pushed me aside for them." I shouted, tears finally breaking free. "That fridge, that was the start. Treating me like I'm nothing." Elena's face crumpled, guilt flickering amid the fury. "I was trying to fit in. You don't understand the pressure." Dialogue cut like blades, revealing layers. Her fear of losing Mark's world, my obsession with reclaiming her. Then the door opened, Mark and the in-laws early. Vivian's eyes narrowed at the scene. "What's this?" Mark snatched a photo, his face draining of color. "Margaret, you meddlesome." But Elena interrupted, voice cold. "Is it true?" Silence stretched, taut as a wire. Mark stammered. "It's not what it looks like." Classic. Chaos erupted. Vivian defended her son. "That woman's just a colleague." While Elena sobbed, clutching Ava. I stood apart, a mix of triumph and guilt washing over me. This was my revenge. Exposure, the family facade shattered. But as accusations flew, doubt hit hard. Had I gone too far? Elena's eyes met mine, filled with resentment. "You did this to hurt me." The night unraveled in slow motion. Guests left in a huff, Mark storming out to clear his head. Elena and I sat in the ruins, food cooling untouched. "Why, Mom?" she whispered. My resolve cracked. "Because I love you. Because they were taking you away." Honesty laid bare the moral gray. My actions born of pain, not purity. Weeks later, the twist came like a thunderclap. Elena called, voice steady. "I'm leaving Mark. I found something." She dug into the investigator's trail, discovering I'd planted doubts earlier. Anonymous texts to Lisa, urging her to push Mark. Not full sabotage, but enough to accelerate the affair's exposure. "You manipulated it," she accused. Shock rippled through me. I'd crossed into obsession's dark side, becoming the betrayer. In the end, poetic justice stung us both. Elena moved back with me, but trust fractured. Ava's laughter filled the apartment, a fragile bridge. Yet in quiet nights, guilt lingered. My revenge had won her back, but at what cost? The fridge in my kitchen stood full, but the emptiness inside remained, a hollow victory in the pursuit of what was lost.